Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to the Responding to Things That I've Seen Online subset of my vlog. This comes to me or came to me from Blue Sky, and it came in the form of a screenshot that someone posted where the first question, pretty straightforward, not really all that attention getting, the kind of question that it seems natural to ask. At what age should I try to get my kids into the Lord of the Rings? Is 5 too soon? You know, I'm sure that that particular poster expected responses from Lord of the Rings fans talking about when they first got into either Tolkien's trilogy, Peter Jackson's cinema trilogy, or both. Instead, among the things he got was this, which I quote directly. Your kids are unlikely to appreciate Lord of the Rings. The first film came out 25 years ago. Say you try to get them to watch it when they are 10, 5 years from now. Then it will be 30 years ago. When you were 10 years old, did you like films that were made 30 years ago? So, this is obviously coming from somebody who has this idea of a generational bubble. The only things that are relevant to this particular generation were things made by creatives in that same generation, were things that came out within the lifetime, at least, of people in that generation, and assumes that other people will have that same kind of generational blindness and cannot, not will not, but cannot connect with things that are older than that generation, cannot connect with any media that was made for earlier generations. So, just taking the question at face value, I thought back to when I was 10 years old, and that would have been 1979. So, 30 years before 1979, that would be 1949. Now, at the time, I had already seen more than once 1946's It's a Wonderful Life. This was at the time when the movie was public domain. It was a holiday staple. All the local channels aired it because nobody had thought to recopyright it. Nobody had thought to claim it. And so it was everywhere. And we watched it. We connected with it. We loved it. By we, I mean my sister and I. And there was even one Christmas, I believe it may have actually been that same Christmas, when both my sister and I got Superstar Barbie fashion faces for Christmas. These big Barbie heads with the beautiful blonde hair that we could style however we wanted, and the makeup kit so we could make Barbie look however we wanted. And my sister had the clever idea to style her Superstar Barbie fashion face head in the style of Mary from Pottersville. So, Pottersville Mary, aka Librarian Mary. She made her Superstar Barbie fashion face head look just like Librarian Mary, complete with a hairnet. So, that was awesome, really, particularly as I think about it from hindsight. Now, at the same time, my sister and I were also watching Looney Tunes cartoons on Saturday morning. The Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show was on, and the local channels aired lots of old movies, both in black and white and in color. And we watched them, we loved them. So many movies that were made for earlier generations that became a part of our childhood. I remember back when The Wizard of Oz was yearly event television. Every year they would air The Wizard of Oz. And my sister and I would look forward to that every year. This was 1939, so made 40 years before I was 10 years old. And we had the best time looking forward every year to the night when The Wizard of Oz would be on television. And we even got to stay up late for it. So the idea that somebody 10 years old cannot connect with media that was made 30 years before they were born or 30 years from the time they were 10 years old, that's bunk. Now, there is a little bit of a difference in terms of what kinds of media my sister and I had access to versus what kinds of media kids today have access to. When we were little, cable wasn't a thing. And so we had a lot of local channels. They would affiliate with their network during prime time, but during the day, they would run a lot of different things, and a lot of them would be older media from previous generations. And so we had access to these things. We were encouraged to watch these things. Sometimes they were the only things that were available to watch. Nowadays, of course, you have not only cable, but 1,000 billion streaming services. So if you want to stay in that generational bubble, you can. You have an opportunity to simply close yourself off from any media that is older than a certain date, and just relate to only the same things that everybody in your generation relates to, and nothing outside, nothing earlier than that. So I will admit that it is a little bit harder. But that's why we need parents, exactly the kind of parents that the first poster is, who was asking about getting their kids into Lord of the Rings. What age is appropriate? So we need parents who grew up with media from generations past to expose their kids to this media, and maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll click with it, maybe they won't. But the idea that they shouldn't even have the opportunity or that the first person shouldn't even bother, I think is ridiculous. And it's also not true. Because even in this day and age, when we have media saturated with so many streaming choices, there are still lots of young people connecting with media, classic media from generations past. Not long ago, my husband and I had the opportunity to see Casablanca on the big screen at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. And the theater was practically full, and it wasn't people our age or older that were there. It wasn't entirely people our age or older. You had a lot of young people there, millennials, even Gen Z, including a young couple who cosplayed as Rick and Ilsa from Casablanca. And that just warmed my heart. The spirit of Dragon Con cannot be contained within one mere Labor Day weekend. So obviously they were connecting with that medium. Why should they? Because it's a good movie. And bottom line, we want good entertainment. And if you give us good entertainment, then we will accept it, we will latch onto it, and we will pass it on to the generations that come after us. We want good entertainment. And yes, I know that lots of bad entertainment ends up making a ton of money, but the good stuff will, I have this belief deep in my heart, because if I didn't believe it, I don't like to think about what I would do. I would probably lose the optimism that animates me and makes me who I am. But it gets actually disturbing when this particular poster decided to explain themselves. And they put it this way: I am not convinced little kids and teenagers, a lot, I am not convinced little kids and teenagers a lot of other great films if AI technology is going to be as good as people say it will. Okay, that's direct, and they left out a word. I'm not convinced that little kids and teenagers are going to see a lot of great films, are going to like a lot of great films. If AI technology is going to be as good as people say it will, AI is likely to demolish human creativity, including film. That's a very bleak projection, and one of the posters on Blue Sky, because this did have a long chat thread attached to it, one of the posters surmised that this person was either a bot or very young. Probably very young, but I hope to goodness that it's a bot that posted that. Because if an actual person is that defeatist, I can't help feeling deep compassion for them. Because the answer, yes, AI is a problem. And yes, AI is a threat to human creativity in a lot of ways. But the answer is not to lie down and let it happen. The answer is not to say, oh, well, nothing I can do about it, nothing we can do about it. Let's just throw up our hands and let creativity go down the drain bit by bit, year by year, generation by generation, and let our AI overlords take over our media lives. No. You see a problem, you don't roll over and let it happen. You fight. And one of the ways that you can fight is by exposing younger generations to good media. Good media made this generation, good media made in previous generations. Do not roll over. So if any of you are actually agreeing with what that poster says, please, please try to get over this idea that we are powerless. We are not powerless. We do not have to accept that this is our future. We can change our future. Thank you.